I see that they have a preschool downstairs?
Yes, we have a preschool here. It's been here since Pastor Hall. It was his wife that started it, so it's been here a good many years. I mean, that goes back 25, 35, probably 45 years been going on. And it's
And that's open not to just the church people, but to anyone.
Anybody. Y'all come.
I also asked if, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it kind of tapered off, but I see now that it's coming back up, but you can kind of lay that to the economy, I think. You know, people don't have the money to send the kids to school, they don't do it.
You were talking about, we asked about the missions. Do they do outreach missions to overseas or to other parts of the United States?
We have one project that we've been doing for the last, I don't know, half a dozen or so years. They're called school kits. And what it involves is there's a bag. Well, it's probably about 12 or 13 inches wide by yay deep, and we pack them with, there's a specific list, 3 tablets of 70 sheets, and if you're on Johnny on the spot in August, you can buy them for 2 or 3 cents a pad, which is unreal. And then, I don't know, half a dozen pencils, a pencil sharpener, a pair of scissors, an eraser, some construction paper. There's probably a couple items I haven't thought of, but anyway, we pack those. We put the bags out, put the list of what's supposed to go in them, and then bring them all back by the 25th of next month. And then my wife has kind of been the one that got that started, and so I end up packing them and sealing them up. And then we take them down to Jerusalem Lutheran Church down in, well, it's over by Rittman, in that vicinity. And on a certain day, and then they've got a truck there they load all this stuff up in there, and then they drive it to somewhere to be consolidated with a shipment overseas. That's the one mission program that we've been doing for, well, at least 6 years, maybe even longer. And that's a major one, I think.
The church itself, and I'm not familiar with it, the Evangelical Lutheran, now do they run it, are they part of an Ohio district, or are they part of?
We're part of a worldwide.
Okay.
We have a bishop in the U.S. is in Chicago, and we have, Ohio is divided into 3 districts: Northeast, which is where we are part of, the Northwest, and the South. And there's a bishop in each one of those areas. But then the head cheese is in Chicago. But that's kind of the way it's set up.
Do they have much control over each church, or does each church pretty responsible for what goes on in the church?
Pretty much responsible for what goes on in the church. Yes, our Constitution is modeled after the Constitution of the main church, and yes, they approve that Constitution. It's kind of transparent in a way.
Being that you've been here in Elyria, the church has been in Elyria for so long, what type of reputation do you think that people, when they think of Emmanuel Lutheran, what do you think comes to mind when you hear that name here in Elyria, that other people might think of this church?
There's a good bunch of people over there in Heights. Friends of ours, of course they probably know the church through us as much as anything. good reputation, and I know pastors involved with, I can't even tell you the name of the group, but it's.
Ministerial Association.
Yes, yeah. Where I don't remember, I think McKinley, I think he was involved with that too, but Pastor Hall wasn't a joiner, so he didn't have anything to do with.
Do most of the members live in this area, or do they travel in from other parts of the county?
There we have members from Ridgeville and Grafton, LaGrange, Avon. But I'd say that the majority are from Elyria proper, as a whole. But yeah, there's some that are scattered about.
Is this the only Lutheran church in Elyria?
No, we're the only ELCA church. St. John's, which I mentioned, is out by the mall, and Grace, which is down East River toward the city limits. They're both Missouri Synod churches. And there's a church out on 82 that's
Wisconsin?
No, I think it's a Missouri church too. I don't think it's Wisconsin. But, there's a mission church that's trying to get established in Ridgeville, but they're having a struggle to get going. Right now they don't have a mission developer that was there, is not there anymore, and I don't know the reasons, what for or how come, but some of our members are going to visit them once a month to try and increase the attendance on a Sunday or two. And other churches, Lutheran churches, are being asked to do the same thing, so see if we can give them a shot in the arm, so to speak.
What is your favorite part of the building?
I think the sanctuary.
What do you like best about the sanctuary?
Well, I like the way it is currently laid out, even though at the time we were doing that, it was a struggle. But we've got those windows on the south side there that give it a peaceful feeling, particularly on a sunny day, when you go in there and the light's shining through there, and it really is quite nice, and it's a comfortable place. I like the rest of it too, but I think that'd be my favorite spot.
Okay.
Can you think of anything else that you'd like to ask, either one of you? Because we're wrapping this up, but I'm going to turn it back to him. Is there anything that you're like suddenly you say, I'd like to say or add this? Any other memories about the church? Anything else that about your experience here?
Well, one of the things that we put in addition to the elevator when we did the revamp was air conditioning. I have two daughters that were married here, one July 5th and the other one on August 15th. And they were the hottest days of the year, I think. And it was a vast improvement when the air conditioning went in. I don't know whether people getting married in the summer anymore realize how hot it was. With the windows open and the fans going, but oh, it was terrible hot. That's one thing I remember, and I'm glad that we were able to do when we did it. No, going down the road, I think the only thing we need to do is expand our parking facility. It's inadequate for.
Oh, you run out of parking spaces then
Yeah.
at times?
Well, we've only got, I think there's about 30 spots out there. And of course we park on the streets all around, that's what we do, but it would be a whole lot nicer if we had another 30 spots. And we do own
What other challenges do you see for this congregation or for the Lutheran Church in general in the future?
Boy, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. You know, if you look at the way church attendance overall, not just here, but overall, is kind of in a decline. And I think we've been fortunate here to this point anyway. Our membership has been pretty solid, and hasn't really fallen off the cliff. It may not be quite what it ought to be, but it's doing reasonably well, and financially they're doing well at this point in time, despite all of the problems with the economy and everything. It's kind of amazing to me that it has been as good as it has been. But I think I don't know, down the road it probably just get better and better.
With all the improvements and with everything else you're doing, yes,
Yeah, no, I think
they're all steps in the right direction.
no, my big thing is the parking situation. I'm not the only one. I mean, we all know it. It's just costs money, and one of these days we'll be able to bite the bullet and do it. So I say, well, at least we own the house. So
Yes.
that's